Okay, so I decided to make a video later today, and it's later. Like I said, I was in American culture class today, and we were watching Trouble the Water, which is about Hurricane Katrina, and this husband and wife were taking a video documentary of what happened. They lived in the Ninth Ward, and most of their family did too. And you just see throughout the storm like everything they went through, and it's like I think the most heartbreaking part was hearing the 911 calls, because this one woman said, "I'm gonna die in my attic." The person answering the call couldn't do anything. They just couldn't. I mean, I would not blame those people who had to answer those calls for not ever going back to work after that, because that's so tough. You're basically hearing someone's last words, probably. And then you see throughout the storm, no one could get there. The Coast Guard wasn't going to do anything. And I think the most infuriating thing was the fact that George Bush said, "Oh, we're going to stay in Iraq and also help down Louisiana," while he's sitting with a bunch of rich people saying, "Listen to your local authorities." Well, these people had no electricity. Their only local authority was God. He did nothing for them. And you just see all the terror. They had to go into, this husband and wife had to go into their attic to survive. It was just, and then it shows 2 weeks later. I mean, I'm only 34 minutes and 10 seconds into the movie in class, but you see they go 2 weeks later, and they're making the documentary still. And the waters receded 2 weeks later. And you just see the Louisiana ASPCA has been by the houses to see about the animals. But the National Guard hasn't gone to one house in the Ninth Ward. That is so... I don't even know. It's like they're treating these people as lower than an animal. They're human beings. Even a reporter made a comment saying, "What would this country have done if these were all white people?" And I think that's a very interesting point. Because we are going through the chapter on race and gender. So it's a very valid point to bring up. And this husband and wife went to the wife's uncle's house. They went to his wife's, I think it was like family member's house where her uncle was staying. And her uncle's a drunk, but everyone loved him. They were all family down there. And they go in the house, and they find him dead, and it just reeks. It's been 2 weeks. He's been decomposing for 2 weeks. And that's the only way they got the National Guard to come by and do anything about it, to write that there's a decomposing body on the house. And these people from the Ninth Ward are just so nice to the National Guard, and look what they do. They treat them like they're less than human. They're subhuman. I mean, at the same time, the National Guard didn't really have a leader, so they really didn't know what to do. But they should have been doing what they thought was right. And the way that the governor, I think it was, set up the fact that everyone had to evacuate, but giving no transportation to the people who can't afford to leave in a car, or just don't have a car because they don't have enough money. Like, what are you doing? You cause people to die. Like, I think back to those 911 calls. Like, there were 12 kids in one of them. 12 little babies. And they were all kids under the age of 5 in one house with their parents. And then, but you see all the good in people. I mean, you've heard the stories of people just coming down on their own and bringing water because they didn't have fresh water for days. They couldn't drink the water that came from the ocean. There were so many chemicals. There were viruses, bacteria in there. Viruses that attack bacteria, viruses that attack humans as a host and stay inside as a host, in the host, which is the human. And just people trying to wade through the water could get a fungal infection. And it's insane. People were getting chemical burns from being in the water because there was gasoline from oil slicks in the water because they were so close to the ports when the levees broke. So that let in all the oil and all the different chemicals around there. It's like they didn't care. The levees were only going to hold up to a category 2 or 3 hurricane. Like, and there was no funding to build the levees up higher. It's heartbreaking. I mean, I was only, I think, in 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade. No, it was definitely 6th grade. But it's like, even then, I can't do anything, and that, now that I'm older and I realize what really happened, it's just like the government was treating the people of New Orleans like they were subhuman. They were lower than animals. And that really bothers me. There was another story that we went over, and it was heartbreaking because, I know I'm saying heartbreaking a lot, but the hospitals and hospices, doctors had to euthanize patients. Like, terminally ill patients or patients that just weren't gonna survive. They had to euthanize them because they had no space for anyone else to come in. That's a terrible thing that doctors had to do that, but I can only imagine that choice that they had to make. Like, I cannot, not for 1 minute do I think that was an easy choice for them. That was probably one of the hardest things they've ever chosen to do in their entire lives, and they probably live with it every single day of their lives. They live with the decision that they made to euthanize some patients. And then there are the patients who needed ventilators. The generators were going to run out eventually at the hospitals, so they had to fly them somewhere to get them taken care of. It's like the government didn't care. And all they cared about was getting people back to Louisiana, like tourism back, instead of caring about revamping the whole place and taking care of the people who were already there, and then bringing tourism back. I know tourism is a big part of Louisiana, but you need to take care of your own first before you bring other people in. Because the 9th Ward, literally, people can't rebuild because they don't have money. They don't have the money anymore. And I don't know. It makes me really sad. It makes me wish that I could have been older then, so I could have gone down there and helped. But yeah. The way I want to relate this is from class and race and gender. We are all human beings, and we should all be treated that way. I don't care what color skin you are, what class you're in. Like, anything. You're a human being and you deserve to be treated like one. And hearing the story and the stories of others, it was really heartbreaking and it was really eye-opening. And I just want to say that I am there for everyone who went through that. My heart goes out to you. You are some of the strongest people I know. And I hope you know that there are people there around that want to support you and be there for you. And that care about you and love you. No matter what race, class, or gender you are. So that's my video. Sorry I got a little emotional there. But I thought it was something that really had to be talked about. Okay. Bye.